Guys, it's 3:55 p.m. Today is October 14. Today is a Friday, and we had a roller coaster ride again today, right? So it was opposite move. So buyers failed basically to follow through. Instead price decided to go down and take the key area, which is today's low 95. Okay, so the notes were, I can't even say today to focus on shorts or long. So instead we will have to go by levels, right? Which is preferred buyers area for buying and preferred sellers area for selling. Below preferred sellers area, I want sellers to hold it below. Above preferred buyers area, I want buyers to hold it above. So preferred sellers and buyers area are the keys, right? And then it's all about hunting levels today. So this is the story about hunting levels. And then yesterday's buyers were legit. They need to see a follow through. S&P has to hold above Globex low, which was 63 in ES, and then backup was 35.38. 920 was in NQ. So more price goes straight up, equal to more sellers will come due to exhaustion. See, now note down this specific levels, right? And I'm thinking if it goes up that much, and you may expect reaction at any of this R. See this R, after I publish the note, price touched this level in Globex, and this became a Globex high. This area became the RTH high. So levels are good always. You just have to follow through it. So this was RTH high, this was Globex high, right? So when you see a reaction here, right, and it was a preferred sellers area in the Globex, right, and then what happened? And of the open, price came down to 95, right? So this 97, 95, this area I discuss in Discord, around I think before open, So hold on, let me show you something. Let me show you. So this is what I wrote it at 9:20 a.m. 96 in ES, which is this area. If pulls back there of the open, and NQ's rim number, which is 127 to 107, right? And then hold on, you can see this 127 to 107, this area right here of the open, right? So price came there, that was your long. So I had an auto long there. I put that in Discord also. That also told the folks that I went long here, And then when price went higher here, I built out. It's a Friday, one trade. I was only looking for a few points, right? Because contextually it was not okay to trade a lot today or hold on to your trade. Somehow I didn't feel good. So I built out right here at this high, morning high. In NQ also I built out at 150, 155 or so, So my entry was both together, 97 in ES and 127 in NQ together. And then I built out right here after this bounce, both of them together. And I was done for the day, I closed the computer pretty much, and then I went outside for my work, So that is all I did, right? And then idea was, then price came down here. This was a gap fill area, right? So ideally it should not have gone down below this, based on yesterday's up move. This was yesterday's high, this area. It was a VWAP also. It was our bold resistance turned into support idea. It was a confluence area, right? And the internals were up, so it should not have gone down. But the moment it went down, right, now something is off to begin with, that's the idea in mind. And then when it came down to gap fill here, right, it did bounce, but then there was no long setup here, because the next area was 62 important, this 63 area, right? So price did gap fill, and it was a strong bullish disconnect at that time, but this thing was the clue. So after this bounce, it should not have come down like this, right? So there is no long here. Even though if you want to try it, you can try based on the bullish disconnect, some days it works too, but in today's context it was not advisable, So when it bounced back up, right, it bounced, for a few points, right? But you don't have to become a greedy here. You have to act, you have to consider this area as a resistance, and you have to bail out here. Same thing in NQ, you can do the same thing, But when you see this slice through it, now you are ready to short even, But then in one candle it reached this 62, right? It was a Globex low preferred buyers area, correct? So now here you cannot buy it anymore now. Why? Because now internals are tanking, you know, and bullish disconnect failed, right? So now you can't go long here. If you go long, you have to put a larger stop back to this 35 or so, right? And there is no point going long now, because now, you know, two key levels are broken here. You know, bullish disconnect failed, 97 failed, you know. So that's why you don't want to take a long here. You know, NQ at the same time was around, you know, these blue lines, right? But you know, it already went through yesterday's high, responded from preferred sellers area. This was a preferred sellers area, right? Went through aggressive sellers area, yesterday's high, this blue line. So now something is off, and also it went through the VWAP, right? So now you cannot go long here. Instead, you have to wait for a price to pause here, balance, breakout, something, then you go long, you know. Otherwise, you can look for short below preferred buyers area, you know, because then it will most likely go to backup buyers area, right? So here it went below preferred buyers area, poked below it, then went higher and then sliced through it, correct? It came straight down to backup buyers area. See, now there is no point buying here. Instead, you look for short at preferred sellers area, which is this area, you know, right here. This is where I took out my micro long, you know. So remember in Discord I was talking about importance of this area 36 or so, right? Then I even shorted it here, and then it worked into my favor, but then it reversed on me, so I went long, you know. I was just playing around with micros, as I said, right? And then I bailed out at 56. You can see in Discord also, I put a note there that at 56, right here at the first touch, I bailed out, you know, because that was a short setup. But you know, it's in today's context and Friday, you don't want to even short here, you know. But it was a good short though, you know, if you want to try it. But your stop has to be above 63. NQ, and why? Because NQ was touching 64 at that time, this pink line, you know, and that was a preferred buyers area, right? So here you can short in NQ and take a profit in ES if you're long, you know. And then 872 also important, right? So you can even go long here for a reactionary long back to back, right? So you have to play the lines, green line, blue lines, as I said, right? Color lines are important. And once it breaks below 872, which was the first hour low, right, then it sets up the stage for a further down move. So here you can take another short at 872, you know, right here, or sorry, right here, you know. And ES you can take 26 or here short, but then you know what, there is no point trading it later in the day, you know. And ultimately at the end, what happened? Say this thick green line, it was there yesterday, today it is also there as a thick green line. Look, price just stayed there, see that? So this area is important for going into Monday, okay? And that be all for today.